let's get going. All right.
One thing to call out is, we had a really close collaboration with Turn 10 on this project. We've always worked really closely with them.
Yes,
but
Turn
on
10.
This project in particular,
who
we were able to leverage some of the resource on their
doing
side that kind of helped us
motorsport.
invest in certain features for our vehicles.
It should
The
make
other thing
Horizon
is
better,
we've
though.
invested in our team here at Playground.
This has got me
So
more
I
hyped
think
for the game, to be
probably
honest.
right in saying
Interesting,
this is the largest vehicle art team that we've had on a
Well,
project
I'm
previously.
glad to hear that. Ooh. Miot. They're nice and early. Okay, we're getting to actually walk around our garage there. Okay.
We know that Forza Horizon 6 will arrive with 550 cars on
That
day
is pretty
one,
crazy,
which is
yeah.
the largest number of cars at launch for any previous Forza
I can
Horizon
almost
game.
guarantee there's going to
That
be another
number
200 to
will
300 as
obviously only
DLC as
continue
well.
to grow
so.
over the next several years. After all,
Yep.
Forza Horizon 5 arrived with just over 500 and now sports around 900. However, moving forward from the Xbox One and
So they're
Xbox One X
basically
generation
saying,
of
hey,
consoles has
expect
given Playground
another
Games
500
the
DLC
opportunity
cars.
to finally pull the trigger on a number of improvements to vehicles. Improvements which touch every single car.
There's
Also,
work we've done across our
the
whole
more
suite
I
of vehicles
look at footage of this,
in
the more I'm
carrying
looking forward
forward,
to
which both modernises them. So, for example, if you look at
hello,
our
Titty.
headlights and taillights, we've got a
Let the
new kind
brain
of
rot
refraction-based
begin.
shader on them.
68
Gives them
plus
this really
minus 68
authentic
plus
look of
minus.
depth and
Bit
feel.
early for it,
also
TT,
with
but,
things like
yeah.
where you
Already
have
watched tons of
polycarbonate-style
yapping. Oh,
headlights.
yes.
There's a sort of a kind of rainbow
good evening, Zero.
refraction
Hope you're
effect
well.
that you get through there, like an
Nice seeing
iridescence
you.
as the light
And
cuts
yes,
through it.
I do have a
We've
domain. It
also
doesn't work very well.
reworked our
But I
materials
do have a
used
domain.
across the library of vehicles as well. So we've done some basic stuff like that outside of customization. Some of the
It's kinda
coolest things
loud.
I think we've done are where we've made
Okay.
investments that touch the entire library. So there are new vehicles that we have in the game, and
How many times are they going to
those
show us
vehicles
this
have
one turquoise
their own
Miata?
unique bespoke parts which
lot.
are exclusive to that car. But then I think probably the biggest areas, some of the areas we're most excited about are things like Forza Aero and window decals.
The ability to
window
place
decals
decals
people
on
have wanted
windows
for
has been
ages.
something that's been requested ever since
Christ,
the
that is
influential
old
livery
footage.
editor was first introduced to the Forza series in 2007's Forza Motorsport 2.
Window decals.
Back in the day.
A long requested fan feature, something
Hello there,
that we
James.
also wanted
Nice seeing
to
you,
do
chat, dude.
for a
Hope
really
you're
long
enjoying
time.
your.
That requires a massive
your
investment.
Wednesday-
You have
Wednesday,
to go
Thursday.
back and do work to every single car in order to support that. So we're really thrilled that we've been able
that does
to
look
bring that
gorgeous.
to players, and that allows
I like
everything
that it's
from
got the
doing
sticker
huge
for the
ornate
class in
designs
the
that span
window.
across the windows, wrap all the way around the car.
I know that's
to simpler
incredibly
stuff
basic,
like
but I like
having
that idea.
A sun
the
strip
actual,
in the windscreen.
Decal
or even
goes
just
over the window as
smaller
well.
low-key things
Interesting,
like
okay.
having window stickers that you can go and place on there. And,
Yes,
and
please.
that's kind of a fun one as well, because we link that into the campaign as you progress. You'll
Oh.
unlock little graphics you can go and proudly
cool. I
display
like
on there
that.
as well.
I like
Another
that.
noticeable improvement that touches on just about every one of the hundreds of cars in the game is Forza Horizon 6's new Forza Aero. Dedicated car builders have become increasingly critical of the one-size-fits-all approach of the all-purpose Forza Aero parts available in
Yes,
Forza
it's not
games,
been-
but
it's not
Forza
been
Horizon
great, let's
6
be honest.
will feature front splitters tailored to the individual car, and modern spoilers
Okay.
with separate paintable elements.
We've redone the new the front
that
end and the
seems
rear wing
quite
for Forza Aero. So the new
basic.
front splitter
I'm
is
glad
completely bespoke to each car.
Horizon 6
so the
will
car,
have it.
the vehicle artists now have
At last.
like handles that they can kind of mold to the body lines of the vehicle. Where before we had kind of like one piece that would just go onto the
But
front
yeah,
of the car.
it's
Now
nice
each
to
can
know
kind
that
of
it's going to be
tailor
included.
itself to the design
Getting
of
our
the actual
first sort of,
vehicle.
well, the
So
first looks
it
I've
looks
had
more
of the
natural,
UI as well.
especially with the canards as well. Like
It's
it follows the body
plain.
lines
It
a lot better.
takes quite a few
and we have a new
cues
tow
from
hook, which is
the most recent
which you
Motorsport,
quite
but
like because it has
it's
the feature
clean.
of being
It's
able
nice.
to be paintable.
Hello there,
So
Jag.
For people
it's
that like the
Baffo
smaller
clock.
customization, it
There's
means you can
Baffo
kind
clock.
of make them
UI's
look
a lot like 5.
more
Yeah,
cohesive.
5 with a
And
few
actually,
cues from
put like a
Motorsport.
red blob on the front of the car.
But it's a
You've got,
nice
like,
clean look.
you
I
can actually
enjoy
make it look
80 streams straight, and I'll appreciate
I
it.
think
Lovely to
just
have you with us
the
once
fact
again.
that the kit, the Forza Aero pieces themselves, every single one of them has been somewhat reworked and somewhat retouched to work
I
with
would
the
hope
profile
so.
of that vehicle. That's the biggest uplift. There were some cars in the past where maybe it just didn't sit super well.
I hear
against that
they're not
vehicle. So
saying,
yeah,
oh,
you've
it's
got a
an
performance
all-new
uplift,
system.
you've got a
It's very
visual
much
change,
like,
but maybe
hey,
it
we're
didn't-
taking
it didn't
stuff
quite
from
look as
5 and
cohesive
just
as you
molding
wanted
it to
to.
fit 6,
But now
basically.
genuinely, I think
I'm
it
not
looks
sure if
so much
I'm a
stronger
huge fan of that,
aesthetically.
but
Brought it forward, it looks way more modern.
if that
The
is
new
literally what they've
materials on
done,
it,
then
the
it's a
supporting
fair way of
struts that we
describing it.
have, the new design for the rear wing, the kind of swan neck style wing, much more modern looking than what we had in the past. And yeah, you referenced it there, James, but I love the fact that when you've installed these parts, if you go to, one of the other areas that we've made investments in terms of quality of life is with paints. So if you go to the paints area now, if you've installed some Forza Aero parts, that red tow hook, it doesn't have to stay as a red tow hook. If you spend ages working like perfect colour
that's
scheme
cool.
for
I
the
like
body of
that.
the car, your wheels, your brake calipers, you can go in and customise that tow
Literally
hook and
something
just
that's
make sure it
happening
either fades into
right
the background
now.
or something
Well,
more
actually, I've
neutral,
just
or it really
finished doing
pops
it,
and
but my
complements the rest
playthrough
of the
Forza
scheme you've
Horizon
got.
1.
And the same is true
I
for
really
the
want to
rear wing.
customise
You
the
can
aero,
customise the
but I
end
don't want to
plates,
put
bright
a
colour
freaking
complementary
red
to the
tow hook
car,
on like the front of
or
my car.
again, you could,
I'm liking
throw on
this.
one of our new carbon materials and
Interesting.
just provide something really, really subtle there. So yeah, I think I'm really hoping, and I think we really believe that the Forza Aero work that we've done has been really, really valuable to our car roster. And like I say, it's
Well, if
almost-
we get that
almost all
level of
our cars, I think
customization
we
with
have Forza
every
Aero pieces
one
for,
of the
so really big
550
investment
cars we're going to have on release, I'm going to really enjoy that. Are you serious? We get to watch ads, chat! Woo! Come on. This is why I need YouTube Premium. I'll mute the ads. God damn it. Come on. Go.
Also
Oh, yeah.
been improvements to the paint shop.
Within our advanced materials, we reworked on
keep saying
metallics.
advanced
We've got a new like heavy
All
metal
they're
flake
really
material
talking
in
about
there.
is paint
We have
and
candy
textures.
paint. And one of the nicest things,
Interesting.
honestly, is we've removed a lot of the friction that you used to experience when you navigate through the paint. So in the past, if you wanted
Exactly
to choose a
how?
metallic, you would have to go into the paint shop, you'd have to tab through to advanced, you'd have to navigate down, you'd then have to click into metallics.
Yeah, which is
and then
really
you'd be kind
dumb
of
because
tuning,
metallic paint is like a go-to.
Multiple values to get the right hue, and it was a lot of clicks is probably the best way to put it. And it was
Yes,
kind of
it was.
hidden, so there was a bit of a barrier to entry there where
Just
if
show
you
us
kind of
the
knew,
UI,
maybe you were
man.
more like a power user, you were experienced
My
in previous
God.
games.
How long is
you
this
knew
video?
how to get there.
Christ, it's
But I
25
think
minutes. It could
for
easily be like
somebody who's
15.
less experienced with the game,
If you just show us.
it's kind of hard to find. So
Not
now
like,
when you go to the
Here
paints
we go,
menu,
finally.
you open it up, you go to the standard paints, you can just
Okay.
simply click the right trigger and you'll swap in between gloss, semi-gloss, matte,
God, there is
metallics,
a
and then you
lot of
can
different
dive in
ones here,
right
right.
from there to the advanced paint menu and make those adjustments. You can
lot
also
of choice.
favorite paints from there, which we think should be a really powerful feature for people who use our livery editor.
100%. Oh, yeah.
Those guys do incredible things. And they're working with often like
I
hundreds
look
of
forward to
layers.
getting
So I
stuck
think
into
being
the
able to quickly
customization side
assemble
of
a palette of favorite colors that they can
Horizon
go and
6.
swap between, and when they're applying different graphics,
Should be fun.
should be something really valuable for them as well.
On top of this, there will be over 100 new rims, the ability to choose different
Okay.
rims on the front and rear, and even motorcycle engine swaps for K cars.
So
What?
we have, compared to Horizon 5, over
Motorcycle
100 new
engine
rims
swaps.
that people can go and choose from. Some really great stars in
I
there.
like
from some
how they,
great OEMs. So I think people are going to really
is
enjoy
25
that, particularly
minutes,
when it comes
yeah.
to customizing, different rims, front and rear.
Motorcycle
Also
engine
worth
swaps for the
noting,
K
actually, is
vehicles.
we've
I
reworked
see they
our
didn't show
tyre
us that,
designs, our actual tyre visual.
but I'm intrigued to see
for
how
the
that's going
cars.
to work.
That's been reworked. So when you look at
Like
the
putting a
tread
two-stroke
pattern,
engine into a
when you
K
look at
truck
the
is going to
tyre
be
wall,
amusing.
that's a kind of fresh new design.
They
and,
also, like, they
you
made
will
a
see
point of
feed
saying
into the tyre
you can
wear
have
that-
different
that
rims on the
is
front
another
and
feature
rear.
that we've added to the
Who
game as
would
well.
do that?
In terms of other customization, we've
Am I
not
just
talked
being
a huge
dumb?
amount about the
Who
performance
wants
stuff.
different
and
styles
we've
of
got a really
rims on the
cool
front and the
classic
rear of
car
their
in the game
vehicle?
that maybe shows up in a bigger
Anyone
way
in
this
chat
time
would
around,
do that?
James. So maybe
Yes.
we could give an example around cake.
Yeah, so we have a few new
Oh,
K
it is a few K
cars in
cars.
the game.
Oh,
and
look at
one
this.
of the cool things
Look
I
at
think
that
we
pink
want
one
to
on the
lean
left.
into is
I mean, this
they're
is
pretty
from
small,
5,
so
but
get some pretty interesting
we need to
engine swaps
expand
for
on
them.
this.
So we've got a few new motorbike engine
Oh,
swaps
wicked cars,
that
yes.
all have some great audio, and they also rev to silly numbers. So yeah, I'm really
Good.
excited for those. I
good.
think we didn't talk
Horizon
about
should
K
lean
cars,
into
in
the
fact,
weird,
they've
into
got
the
their-
crazy.
Yeah, they've
That's
got
what we
their own
want.
bespoke plates.
Yep.
So yeah, if you drive any K cars in the game, you took a lot of focus and a lot of detail on the plates and trying to get the authenticity right. So I remember just going through it and getting all the car like dimensions and making sure they're all marked up properly to have like the right plates, making
Great
sure they
for
had
a
like the
road
yellow
trip.
plates with like the right number classification.
Brilliant.
So like I love that level of detail.
While these boosts to car customization will no doubt result in an overall improvement in the kinds of builds players can create, Playground has been going a bit nuts with its own completely custom cars in the meantime. In
Okay.
Forza Horizon 6, Forza Edition cars are being injected with entirely custom fabrication you can't
stonking
recreate
engine
by manually
on that
applying
Miata,
upgrades in the
Jesus.
auto show. The team explains they began to experiment with this a little later in Forza Horizon 5's lifespan.
There's two examples of this. One was the Horizon Edition Dodge Viper that we added to the game, where that had a
Tonks
really
engine,
unique
yes.
like carbon fiber like aero kit that we
The
added for it.
OG
And we also
Viper.
put like
The
a
best
sun strip
Viper.
in the windscreen, so really kind of separated it from what you could get with the standard Viper. You couldn't just modify one to make it
Like
look
how
like that.
the
And then we
plate
pushed that
just
even
says
further with the
sausage.
Jordan Luca
good stuff.
collaboration, where we basically did a full resto mod on a car there. So we took the Camaro, it was wide and it had unique wheels on it. I think it had a unique tyre design. The whole interior is
did.
reworked. We kind of riffed on like the design
like
of
that.
the trainer. The
I've
body
never
was
played
really
Horizon 4.
heavily
This looks very
modified,
cool.
the
We've
lights
only
were
got 2
changed.
months to go.
It was
Less than 2 months
it
to
was
go,
such
actually,
a
until
cool
6 comes
car.
out.
Like we had a ton of fun working on it, and we think our players really loved this thing that we'd created. And so you can consider that, and then also if you look at shows like SEMA or Tokyo Auto Salon, or even when you consider our location in Japan and the incredible builds you see coming out of these tiny workshops dotted around the country, we're like, look, there's something to this. Like, how do we
wonder
go
how
and,
much
like, move
involvement
forward Forza editions for the next
Those
game?
shops have in
And
6.
so what we've tried to do is take as many of those elements as possible, and feed those
Like,
into
quite-
the Forza editions.
just how much have they
we feature
leaned
in the
into
game. And like personally, I
the
think these are
wealth
some of our
of
most exciting
talent there is, and like
cars.
the
So again, they're very
customization scene
rare.
in
But
Japan.
you can't just go and buy these through the auto
like
show.
graphics of real cars. Fair.
Either through
fair.
rare
I know you
wheel
like taking
spins,
your pictures,
or
Gingers. That
interestingly,
makes sense.
a few of these will be available as aftermarket cars. So as you're out
Okay.
exploring the world, some of these might pop up for sale as aftermarket cars on driveways, giving you a nice reason to go out and cruise and explore the world. Make for some
love
fun
that idea.
discovery moments there.
More freaking ads. Anyone want to play marathon, chat? I don't. Come on. Ugh.
The
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that makes Forza Editions special this time around is how unique they are, and that goes far beyond their special
It's a
glow-in-the-dark
nice plate.
commemorative style Mount Fuji number plates.
Although
Yeah, the
that does
thing
look
that for
very
me
nice.
really
Glow in
separates
the
them is
dark.
just the level of detail we've gotten to in terms of
I'm
differentiating
a sub, but I
them
still
from
get
a
ads. What a
stock car modified with the parts available to you.
No
through the
ads on
auto
Twitch,
show-
unfortunately.
Auto show normally.
You might get them on
So you
YouTube.
still have unique perks. Some of those unique perks will be tied to the new gameplay we have as well. So open world time attack, additional link skills, that kind of thing.
Open
But
world
yeah,
time
really, it's
attack.
the level of
Right.
attention we've put into the visuals of those cars. Like we've really let our vehicle artists off the leash and show what they can do. And I think that's what makes them super exciting. So, James, maybe you want to talk a bit about
Yes.
a few of these particular
Maybe my
vehicles?
monotonous
Yeah,
voice
yeah,
can take
yeah.
a break,
So
and we get the guy with
I
the
know
cool
that
sounding voice
players
to
have
talk
seen
about cars
a
for a
lot
bit.
of that Miata from the reveal. The
Yes,
pretty
we have.
crazy one. Yeah, it's got a V10
Can you show us a
with
different
the
car,
turbos
please?
for headlights. I think everyone's one of the first things people saw. They were like, "What is that?" And then, as you can see from the front end, it's even got like the tow hook like coming out the front end, like the little tongue, which I think is quite funny.
That is quite.
Yeah, a lot of the cool like design elements. I think the amount of detail that's gone into just the Forza editions in general, like, from what we were talking about, like we've even gone down to the point where like, how do we make some of
XD,
these
nice
cars?
thing
How
in
do these
chat, dude.
cars like actually work?
Hope
So,
you're
for
doing well.
example, in the Miata, if you look inside in the passenger footwell, like the firewall's actually kind of been expanded, and you can see where like, the welds and where they
interesting.
put more metal to like even.
I
fit
like
the
that.
engine
I
to
like
begin
the
with.
realism
So,
aspect of
like,
that.
we would
It
have never
does
gone
seem
to
across
kind
the
of those
board
lengths
they're leaning
previously,
more into
for,
at
like,
least
some of those cars.
visually,
In particular, on that car, like,
in terms of the car
yeah, I guess you can see,
specifically.
like, some details,
the game
like,
looking
the
more
arches to fit, like, a
realistic.
gigantic real like rubber.
Like,
that we've
I don't
done
think that's going to
There's the roll cage.
bleed into
We've
the
got
gameplay, for
working
example.
dials
It's gonna
attached
be
to
the
the roll
same
cage as well.
arcadey open world.
We've
Forza has
ripped out
always
the
been
seats,
from
so it's
like
now
a
single
visual
seat
point of view.
with,
But it's
with
cool
a
to
harness,
see them
more like a
really
race
dial
seat
into
design style
making
in
these
there.
cars look
And again, you mentioned
not just as
details
good as
there, James.
possible,
If you
but
look
making them
around
look
the
as
car,
realistic as they can.
We've even like reworked the bright work, so where you've got the rivets on the arches, the metal for the handles on the doors, and the fixings for the hard top. On the standard car, those things would
That's
be
a lot
kind
of
of chrome
detail.
elements. They've been given a sort of brass copper look to kind of knit in with the overall look of the car. So yeah, just
Can't wait for
that
people to
level
rip
of
it and put it
detail,
into
like
GTA
cutting and
5.
modifying the
It's
bodywork,
inevitable, isn't
like
it?
exposing an engine coming up through the bonnet.
This guy's voice is
twin
boring me now.
turbochargers,
Just now.
They
It's boring
just
me about
look
10
so
minutes ago.
different compared to what you could build through the auto show, and I think that makes them really, really cool.
Another cool thing about the MX-5, from literally just the point you were talking about, was the fact there is a bit more customization.
They
you can do
really
with that
didn't
Forza
leave anything
edition.
on the cutting room
So,
floor
like,
in this
I
interview,
guess
did
the
they?
spec out of the box is this kind of drag, this drag car. It's got the drag wheels, you know, it's got drag slicks. It's got this kind of like low drag look. But you can put Forza in the front, and it's got this custom rear wing, and then you can change it, put slicks on it, and then yeah, you can turn it into like basically like a little time attack car. So I think that's something that we've haven't
That was a
done
lot of
before, where
words
you can
to
actually
say
kind of
you can
make a twist
customize
on
this
the Forza
car.
edition itself, and then turn it into something that's capable for something completely different.
Speaking of different, Forza
What the
Horizon
hell is
6's
that?
Forza Edition S-Cargo is about as different as you can get, turning Nissan's quirky 70-odd horsepower snail-shaped mini cargo van from 1989 into an insane rear-engine Banshee full
kinda
of
like it
custom
in a weird
engineering
way.
and a new central driving position.
I think I changed the
Started
colour.
off as a joke from one of our vehicle artists because when they were working it up for Forza Horizon 5, they
Some of
noticed
those
that the
textures
dials
look
were in the middle of the car,
unbelievably flat.
and they were like, "You sit on the right. Like, why don't they sit in the middle? Then the dials actually make sense." And then I guess they just span up the idea of this.
I mean, I like
crazy,
how much detail
like,
they've gone to
time
model
attack,
the
space
interior
frame,
of
escargot,
a
just from like a
fake
simple
car.
joke. But the amount of
It's
detail that's kind
cool.
of gone into that build, from what we talked.
But hey,
you-
this is
you
what
brought up of
Horizon's
just
all
kind of
about,
like they
right?
made this bespoke
weird and the
space frame,
ridiculous.
but it's got a front mounted turbo.
I wouldn't go on a
so we need
road
to
trip
raise up the
quickie with
space
that.
frame
That
so,
is,
like,
I think
the
it only has
actual,
one
the
seat, Noah,
exhaust,
so
like,
you
to the
couldn't
front
even if you
turbo,
wanted to.
like, makes sense. Like, yeah,
Yes, the big wang.
That thing's absolutely nuts. I can't wait to show that one off. Personally, yeah.
And the details on that as well, the consideration that goes into it. Okay, we have this huge rear wing. It's mounted to the space
It has
frame.
so many
Okay, well, of
like
course, we've got to
struts
go
and
and model
supports
these
and mounts
cutouts
to.
and the plexiglass rear window so that the rear door can open without interfering with the rear wing.
You're literally sitting.
Yeah, I think that's,
with the engine
that
right
probably
where your arse is.
exemplifies best what our
Interesting.
artists can do when they are like fully let off the leash.
And the fact that you can take the front clamshell off and you can see the
Come
front
on, I wanna see this
wishbones and,
driving in the open
intercooler
world.
piping and stuff like that. I'm like, we didn't need to.
Yeah, we've got fully
I would like to have seen them
model,
animate that
Yeah.
better rather than just fade
turbocharged
it to
engine in the
black.
back,
Yep, it's great.
rear-mounted gearbox that you can kind of see hanging
It's
off
cool,
the
though.
rear.
You can see the diff, you can
It's
see
cool.
the wishbones. Yeah, it's really
It's
cool.
like something
out of Top Gear,
the
pretty
one car
much.
that I'm like, if it was a real car.
Even the little welds on the on that turbo, pretty realistic. That. God, we're getting a lot of ads. IGN's getting all their money today, aren't they? Yeah.
The third car the team shows us is the
Ooh.
Forza Edition Mazda RX-3, which is
Okay.
a little more sedate than the previous two, but that
It's a little
is
more sedate,
intentional.
yes. No,
yeah, I
I'd
love
block
the
no.
RX-3. So we have one of our Forza editions is like the RX-3, and that's kind of like we've drawn a lot of inspiration from like car cultures of like the 70s and 80s, and then yeah, some of the subcultures there, and they were inspired by like touring car racing at the time. So we have like the works
Yes.
like bubble arches on the car, and we have like the small steering wheel, like the Depper like front
It's a
like chin spoiler,
tiny steering
like,
wheel.
front mounted
Jesus.
intercooler, and kind of like the upswept exhaust, like just looks super period. We
That
have,
look-
like, the
that
big,
looks
like,
very
stock,
nice,
like
I've gotta
battered
say.
steelies, like the dish wheels, like it just looks so cool.
I don't know if this
and
is
it's kind of like
just.
a different driving experience from what like,
This is the
other
first time I've
Forza editions
noticed
are.
this.
one's
If you
more
look in the
branded,
background, you'll
like,
see the
it's
neons
still
are the
like a
same colour as the
super,
car.
like, highly
Is
strung,
that something
naturally
that
aspirated rotary, but
automatically
it's
happens?
more
Like
about
it matches
just
whatever
cruising,
your main
making
paint
cool
colour on your
noises.
car
Our
is?
studio is
If so, I
incredible
think that's
because we've got
quite a nice touch
so
for
many
your
people
garage.
here who are they love elements of our game which are broader than cars, and they bring a really unique perspective
Such
there.
as.
But then also it's incredibly important for us that we've got people who are really, really into cars, and within our vehicle team,
I
whether
would
it's our
hope so.
handling team
I would hope you
or
have
our
people
art
that are
team, we've got
really,
people
really
who are
into
really,
cars,
really,
considering
really
you're making
passionate
a game
about
with
cars.
cars in it.
And there's so much expertise that you can go and leverage there. So when it comes to a build
IGN
like
really
the
didn't want to leave
MX-5,
any part of this
it's not
interview
as
unaired,
if
did
you
they?
have to really handhold somebody
Crying out
and
loud.
through that process. They kind of
That is
instinctively
cool,
know
though.
that, okay, well, if I'm going to go and put a V10 in the bonnet of this thing, it's not just going to fit in that engine bay. And they're poring over and being inspired by builds they see at SEMA and videos of people building these cars at home. So they're kind of acting out, the fantasy that they have
Sure
of,
hope it's
of
cool.
building
It
these
sounds
cars
like
in the virtual world.
Well,
And I
yes.
think that's one of the most exciting things. Yeah, the
Absolutely.
consideration of the details.
Yes,
that-
exciting,
that,
unlike
oh
your
wow,
voice.
you've added a grab hook to get in and out of that vehicle. Well, yeah, I guess of course you would do that because it's going to be a challenge to get in over that tubular space frame that you fabricated into that vehicle otherwise. So yeah, I think really
It's nice to hear how much
the
detail
knowledge and
they've
the
gone into
expertise,
this.
It's just kind of born out of the passion of the team. It's not a thing that has
And
to
it's
be
good to hear that they've got people working on
I
it that are
guess, like,
genuinely passionate.
dictated or
about
kind
this
of
sort of stuff,
instilled.
'cause
It's
this-
sort of thriving, and
I mean,
that's, if it
it's what
wasn't,
we want.
we probably wouldn't have arrived.
Especially
at the place that we
after
have
like the
with
sort of
our- with our
letdown that
Forza
5
editions on
was.
this game.
I hope that there's
I don't think you can
the
instruct
same
passion.
amount. Well, actually, I hope there's
I think that's one
more
of those things, right? Like,
more
you either have
passion.
it or you don't.
Yeah.
not just
Yeah, and I think
in
we have a lot of passion.
car customization and
We wanna see
accuracy and wanting to
people,
be faithful to car culture,
cherishing these cars,
but
we
into,
want to see them out driving them.
you
We want
know,
to see people photographing
the actual
them.
experience
You
of
know,
playing
you
the
can-
game.
Yeah, just because
I know
these
this
things
video
are
is
pre-modified
Just
doesn't
on
mean you can't take them into the
car
auto show
customizations and the Forza
and
era
change the
and stuff.
colour, change the wheels,
But
apply liveries to them, so you can still go and make them your own. And we're hoping
ultimately,
people have a
this
lot of
is all
fun
for naught.
taking the Forza editions and
If
uplifting
the
them
actual
even further.
core
beyond the
game
base car.
experience isn't up
That's
to
what we want to
scratch.
see. We just want to see people having fun in them.
Of course, in Forza Horizon
But I
6,
mean-
you won't just be restricted to customizing
here's
your
the Selena
cars,
7
you'll
again.
also be able to customize the garages you
Ooh,
store them
yes.
in. There are 8 houses in Forza Horizon 6 that players will be able
8.
to buy, and each one has a garage. When you pull up to houses, you will load
See,
into
I
the garage,
love that.
so no more painting
I can
your
have my
cars
little
on the
Japanese
driveway.
house.
As you progress through
My
the
little
campaign,
bath
you'll
pad.
unlock the ability to store multiple cars in your garage, one of which will be your current car with full Forza Vista functionality, and the others will be static models. I'm immediately
I
taken
like
by
that.
how much they remind me of digital
bath
versions
house,
of
yes.
die-cast car dioramas, and the team explains they were inspired
Whoa,
by
look
the
at
things
that.
players had begun to do with Forza Horizon 5's creator tools, building backdrops to show off their cars
yes,
in
just
certain
have
ways.
a supercar in my
I think-
living room.
The real inspiration goes towards
bath
that
pad, me bath
whole
for super.
car culture thing of
Yes.
being able to not only
Bike in the
build
background, yep.
your cars
It's not the
and
first
customize
bike
them,
we've
but also
seen.
have somewhere to show
They-
them off, as in like
So,
you would in real life.
they were talking earlier in the
I think that was
video
really what
about
we're
having
trying for
being
when we
able
look
to
into,
do
the
bike
design for
engine
this and
swaps into
how
some
we
of the
can
K
make that available
cars.
to the players was thinking, okay, we know they have cool cars, they have
Not
ways of
motorbike
making
engine
the cars
swaps.
look cool.
They've got the little
How can we
bicycles in the
make it so they
background of the
also have a
garage.
space, you know,
Hmm.
like those diecast where they can show
Oh,
them
wow, you
in a
really can
specific
do.
way, play around
It's
themes,
like
play
full
around looks, and have
customization.
that ability to like update that
Interesting, okay.
alongside their vehicles. I think that was the main thing we're trying to think about was like, all right, if I'm the player, what's the best way to do that? What tools we have available? What could we create for them to, you know, create that space?
Hmm.
It's something that we know players do, right? I mean, we talked about this,
Yes.
the kind of journey that
It's
we've
pretty
been
sick.
on
It
with
is. It's very sick.
Horizon 3 and players deciding that certain houses belonged to them, and then in 4 we implemented the houses feature. Horizon 5 we built Event Lab, we built Event Lab Island. And as you said,
It's
right,
basically the same
we
clip they showed us
wanted
last
to
time.
deliver on something we know that fans have asked for many times, customizable
I'm looking forward
houses win.
to
So
do this
looking
customization
to
stuff.
find a way to kind of bring that really
Really creating
powerful,
sort of your own
robust
home
tool set that we
within,
tested out, that we knew could do all of
within
these things,
FH6.
that we knew players were using to do this.
You know,
in-
rather than it being
insofar
a
as they
generic
could,
house,
and then
this is
actually
your home.
turning it
You
into a
designed, you put
curated
things
building
around.
experience with as much freedom as possible, like allowing you to clip things through walls and sink things into the ground and really be as free
like
as possible
that.
of where you
That is-
place your cars. So
That is
you
really
can-
important for
so
people.
you
Like,
can make something
for example,
that looks
if you
like
have ever designed a
garage, or you can
house
make something
in The
that looks
Sims,
like
and
a
you've only got the
superhero
option
lair,
between
if
this
that's-
tile
if
and
that's
that
your vibe.
tile, not
We
being
have
able
got
to
to
like
the
put
point where
things into the
literally
floor or like into the mid space between two tiles, that's really annoying. But the fact that that's not
Function
going to
like
be a
all
problem.
other user-created content in Forza
6,
Horizon
and they've
games, and they'll be
thought
shareable with the
about that.
community, have share codes,
I'm
and
glad.
be able to be browsed and downloaded.
should mean we were able to
I
actually
absolutely
make what we
anticipate
want
that it will
without
be
any.
a small number of
anything getting in
players
the
who
way,
make the
you know?
wild things that you see in games like this. But then I look at other games that have building mechanics in them, and the creativity it unlocks lifts the community, but it also inspires
Yes,
the community.
I
It's
like that, Ginger.
Oh wow, I can't make
So I
I know the
So if I can't be
inside of
arsed,
a-
I just
the-
download
the
somebody else's
inside of a
garage
medieval
layout.
dungeon with my cars in it or something.
Who can add your own
But,
custom models in your garage? Probably not.
Maybe I can mess around
wouldn't
with it a little bit. Maybe
imagine
I
so.
can, Maybe I can get on that journey to move forward. So yes, it's catering to a specific, very creative group of people. But ultimately,
That's what Horizon's
I
all
hope
about.
that more people will engage with it. More people will try it out. If the only thing they do is like put down an extra locator, fine.
I think
I mean, it's sort of the same with going back to The
like,
Sims.
this
Some people play The
niche
Sims
of
just
players
to
that we know and
make a
and-
great
and-
outfit, make a
and-
great
and know,
house.
like have enjoyed those
I'm sure
similar
there's
features
people
or
in
features
Forza that
in
are
some
going to
aspect
enjoy
share with
customizing
what the
cars and
garage does,
customizing their house and their
increase
garage
games,
and whatever more than they do
increase
actually
Horizon
driving.
games. But I think
Of
we
course,
also
that's
have
not the
to keep in
core
mind that
audience, but if you create
we've designed these features
a
and implemented
customization
them
experience that
on
is that
a whole
good,
side of we
then
know
that
there
can only
is
be a
like
good thing,
this
really.
smaller fraction of players that build, but we also know that there's still this huge chunk of our players
I like how they say that's a
enjoy and
two-car
consume, right,
garage. That's
the fruit of the
gigantic.
creativity of those master builders, right? And I think garage
Like,
also
you could
has
easily
that,
fit
and
10
that's something we
cars in
really
that.
want to lean on to is the whole aspect of sure I could be a player that loves the idea of that, but not necessarily has the time to sink into building
It's
my
the
own
first
layout
time we've
or
seen any aspect of the
familiarizing
photo
myself
mode.
with the tool. But due to how the feature is
it.
done and how we want it to be, it's going to be fairly easy
Need space
to
for the Forza Vista
pick up
location.
a
Yeah.
pretty
It's probably
pretty
inside
cool,
your small
It's
village
just
house.
unique
Yes.
layout, button presses,
Exactly,
and then
yes.
you're browsing them.
and it's now yours in a way that you'll be able to take what cars you show in there,
but that layout would have been made by someone else, so you won't be able
Do
to
you know what
edit
I
it
like?
directly, but you'll be
That
able
they
to pick
fixed the
and place
brightness
your
and
own
the
cars as
contrast.
if it was your own garage, right?
After all the feedback on the
You
first
found a
video.
contractor that built it for
I know we've
yourself,
missed
and
a
then
few,
you just had your cool cars shown in there.
While the team explains players
glad
will
they
be afforded
noticed.
a lot of freedom in terms of placing objects, with clipping and kludging all permitted for people to achieve the precise look they're
Good.
after.
I'm glad
we
that they will
won't be able to
allow
place
that instead
finals
of
in the space.
disallowing.
However,
disallowing it.
perfect is the enemy of good, and sometimes compromises need to be made to get new functionality like this completed.
I think we've made compromises to the bone on the original ideas that we had. There was a version of it where every house had a different
Okay.
floor plan. There was a version of
Hmm.
it where there were windows in it. But kind of talk about these as next tier
From a-
problems, right? If there's windows
From a dev
outside,
perspective, putting
what happens when
windows
it's
in this
nighttime?
could
What
be a
happens when
pain
it's
in the
winter?
ass.
What happens if a car drives past, right? All of those become
I like how
really
they're
difficult to answer.
bringing up these
And
constraints. Like,
we've-
hey,
we've
this is what it
really
is.
wanted
Do not
these
expect
features to ship in
windows,
the game. So we kind of
seasonality, etc.
made
within the garage.
the
Like, you will not
decisions.
get these things. I like that they're
Every
being
time we had to
upfront
make
and
a
honest
scoping
about it.
decision, it was, can we still keep the core of this, which is, I can make it, for me, it
Then
was,
you sync time of day,
can I
surely.
have my brutalist architectural living room?
Yes, for whatever reason, they've
with a
decided not to
911
do
parked
windows and a
next to
time
my
of day
server. Can I
sync and
still
all
make
of that.
Yes.
Why? Don't
Okay.
know.
We're still good.
IGN's Neon Studio? What?
Check out
Interesting.
our full write-up on Forza
Okay.
Horizon 6's new customization options on IGN, and tune in next week for a first look at Forza Horizon 6's new Rush events.
Okay, very cool. Well, there we go. That is a look at Forza Horizon 6's customization. I am there was more into the customization of the garages. Actually, I think the garage stuff was actually more interesting because that's actually like brand new stuff. A lot of the car customization is just adding just going a step beyond what they've done before. But a lot of things like, you know, being able to paint individual parts of the car, like tow hooks, like different parts of a rear wing, etc. That stuff we've been asking for ages, and it looks like we're finally getting it. Hopefully it's on all of the 550 cars that are going to be here on release. But yeah, I think we've learned a little more about what we can expect on the customization front there, and it has made me more excited to delve into it on release, which of course we'll be playing it on Advanced Access release on May the 15th. So yeah, if you aren't followed already, be sure to follow, subscribe, whatever, so you can be in tune to see that.